Say sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. So, dear Dharma practitioners, there was a person. He went and brought a brand new car, and then he drove it towards his neighborhood, and thinking some other people give some attention. So he looked around, but no one put that much attention, and he slowed down the car little by little. And then suddenly he heard the sound, bang, something hit his car. Then he pulled over and get out of the car and look. The driver's side door was damaged, and somebody threw a piece of rock. And then he got so mad, look around, and then he saw one little boy try to escape, kind of like knowing that this child did something wrong. And then he went behind this child and shouting him, why you did this? Are you crazy? So like that. Then little child start to cry and told, I am very sorry. This is the only thing I can do, because I was trying to stop many cars, but no one stopped. So then this person was so mad, because it's a brand new car. He was just enjoying it. And then he asked, why you did this? Then this little child started to cry and told, my brother fell down from the wheelchair and I cannot pull him back and I need help. So by hearing this person start to look around, and then the other side of the road he saw, and next to the curb, the wheelchair fell down, the disabled, his brother, lying down on the floor. And he was shocked seeing this, and he ran to this place and put him back to the wheelchair. And then this guy was so happy and smiling and saying thank you and God bless you. And so this guy was looking at them. And so what happened? He started to reflect on himself. What happened? And in the beginning, what kind of thoughts he had. And he was enjoying driving his car. But now deeply, he's kind of like he started to feel little cold go through his body, and deeper he felt kind of like a gratitude, and he felt kind of like a joy, grounded satisfaction, just helping to this disabled boy. And he came to his car and he saw the dent that happened, damage happened because of the piece of rock. But he left it there, and he used to drive that car, keep that damage there. And whenever he saw that damage, he thought about the moment that he helped that little disabled boy. And why I bring this story? Because in day-to-day life, sometimes maybe other people throwing stones to you, and at the moment it look like disturbing to you. Maybe it is difficult for you. It may be kind of like disrespecting to you, or may you get deeply angry, worry inside. But sometimes you don't know the other side. Maybe they need your attention, especially your husband, wife, children, parents, friends and family members. And sometimes when they need your attention, and they try to speak in different ways, but not by words. We communicate very little by words as families, and mostly through our actions we used to communicate. So if you don't listen very carefully, if you are not a good listener, by seeing and recognizing what it means, sometimes they start to throw rocks, piece of stones. So maybe it hurt you, but remember, start to look and have a deeper understanding, and don't get disturbed, and just see sometimes they need a help, and sometimes that throw piece of rock toward you because they know out of you that they don't get any harm. You don't call police, you're not going to do a lawsuit, or you're not going to hit them back. Sometimes they know, they secure with you, they feel protection with you. Sometimes that's why maybe they pick you, and they give you a hard time to you, because they know that they can give a hard time to you and they don't get any harm. So it deeply there is a trust in you, regarding you. So then you have to remember, when you develop your this spiritual path, it is just not keep closing your eyes and you just observing inhalation, exhalation. It is more than that. So deeply you have to remember transforming the way you think, changing the way you look around others. You have to change and you have to work with that. And that way, little by little, while others throwing rocks, and sometimes others disturbing you, sometimes others putting you in a difficult situations, remember, you're not going to destroy out of that. You start to find your ground, your balance, your strength, and you start to find your awareness, and you start to find your trust. In long term, remember, it become a profitable skill to you. So then, especially around your families, whatever happen, don't get disturbed. Just think deeply in you, it is okay. And do what whenever you have opportunity. Do whatever you can. Do your best. Never do half for anybody. Never hold anything back in you, and don't do half. Always remember, when opportunity come to you, do your best. It is 100% guarantee. In that very moment, you will feel you are more grounded, and you feel that completion. And you feel the completion, and that completion will take you to the next level of life. So otherwise, we just become ordinary people. Don't be an ordinary person. Don't have just an ordinary life. Don't just follow whatever other people and do, and don't just try to live a life just maintaining yourself. It is not worth. You are more than that. So then how you can uplift you? Practicing regarding developing your wisdom, and at the same time giving the opportunities to others and helping yourself to others. So sometimes that opportunity come invisibly. It look like a disturb. But remember, whenever you have opportunity, whenever you get disturbed, look how you can help them. Whenever you get disturbed, always remember, when you get hurt, don't focus to the hurt, because you cannot handle that. When you get unhappy, sad, worry, when other people make you mad, right away look how you can help them. Maybe just listening, because they need somebody to listen. So maybe you become a listener. They keep blaming, just be a listener. Be a good listener. Don't argue, because if you go to argue, then you are not a listener. So just allow them to. And maybe they need a partner to fight. So then just be a good partner. So sometimes you are stronger than them. Like how you play with children. Sometimes you like to see how they winning, and you want to pretend like you are fail and they winning. So sometimes in life, with your husband, wife, with your parents, your brothers, sisters, sometimes you have to be like that. You do it with mindfully, knowingly, and with the great compassion regarding other person. So then it make you more mindful and it make you more strong. And end of the journey, you're going to win. So for the moment, it is okay to lose because we have a higher purpose. That's why don't waste your time fighting with these unnecessary little things. Out of the situation, always empower yourself. So that is very important. And at the same time, today, I'm going to explain a sutta called Sabbasava Sutta. So in the Madhyama Nikaya, the second sutta, this Sabbasava Sutta is one of the most important and beautiful sutta in Buddha's teaching, like all other suttas, because this sutta has a complete package. So when it comes to the Buddha's teaching, there are different ways it explains how you can gain the enlightenment, how you can gain your liberation. So it is just not only one way of explanation, the same theory, but it explained in different ways. This is one way of explaining how that you can develop yourself and how you can practice yourself. And especially in the beginning, I have to mention, and sometimes we think to attaining to enlightenment, you only meditation is enough. That's it is not like that. For some people it work like that way, but mostly your whole life you have to maintain in different ways, and just not only meditation not going to take you to that destination. Sometimes look at as example, you want to travel to another country, so then from at home first you have to walk to your car or taxi. From the taxi, then you have to go to the airport. Maybe from airport, you have to take a bus to inside the airport. So maybe from there, you have to take elevator. Or then from there, you go to the flight. So from flight, maybe you have another airport. And from there, you take another bus inside the airport. It take you to another terminal. You have the transit, so another elevator, and maybe again you have to walk. Then you go to airport, that your destination airport, and from there you have to take a taxi or bus, or maybe somebody came with the vehicle to pick you, and from there you go, and then end of the journey again you have to walk. You cannot go into the inside the house by car or the taxi. No, in front of the gate they stop it. So see how it changed. So this when this mental practice also same. Don't stuck with only one method. So they keep the flexibility inside you. And also it is it sometimes you have to take different methods to deeply purify yourself, these mental formations or the sanskara or the klesha. So this Sabbasava Sutra giving us complete package in your conventional life, using that conventional life, and also your spiritual practice, using that spiritual practice, combine this both, how you can direct your life to enlightenment. So that's why learning this sutta is very important. So this Sabbasava Sutta, it called fermentation. So the fermentation is kind of like uh, the deeper our chemical breakdown, how you can break down this sansaric chemical, that the structure in us is it's a kind of like a vaccine. So it's a you this all that learning this kind of like you vaccination inside you and using different method and strengthening your wisdom to handle these outside situations. So the sanskara happen in a way, it's kind of like it's a it's a it influence. We get influence from the outside world. So influence, the very word come in flow. So it's the flowing, the current go through, come to you. So flow, come in, influence. So that's like that. So there are three ways this happen. Through the perception, you get influence, your eye, ear, nose, tongue, body, mind. Through the objects, perception, you get influenced regarding this world. Not only that, through your bodily, verbally, and mentally action, world get influence. See, then it's kind of like the current go through you. So things come in and things go out. So this is a process. So the world come into you, world come go through, and at the same time you go through the world. So just try to recognize this journey, that the world come to you and the world go through you, and you are go through the world also. So this all happening as a flux. It has a deeper connection. So when it comes to the astrava, it's kind of like a roots, formations, and the sanskara. This mainly that there are many the few roots, mainly four roots: kamastrava, bhavastrava, dittastrava, avijjastrava. So kamastrava means deeply that you have kind of like DNA's blueprint. Go with the sensual pleasures and the desires, with the self-centered mind. It's natural. There's nothing wrong with this anything. We just analyze and recognize the system, not judging. Don't come to that kind of recognition. No, we just try, with the very clear mind, without getting to any direction, we with the kind of like there is for this to analyze the mind, equanimity. You not get into a view. That is important regarding even when you practice yourself. You have to keep the equanimity. You have to keep the balance. Oh, this is good. This is bad. This is right. This is wrong. No. We just recognizing these things. So when it comes to karma ashrava, is deeply we have roots grounded, hold it to this world, worldly nature, with the desires, with the self-centered satisfaction, looking through your eye, ear, nose, tongue, body, mind. So that is kama astrava. And the bhava astrava is kind of like a desire to become. Desire to become, even regarding this life, even maybe beyond the life. And ditta astrava, it's a viewpoint. View, this is me. I used to be in the past. I'm going to be in the future. Self-centered view. And avijja, it's deeply it has a deeper connection with that. The avijja means one is not knowingly the Four Noble Truth, and avijja is another way, is not knowingly the Eightfold Path, and avijja is another way, is not recognizing this, our inner five aggregates: form, feeling, sensation, formation, recognition. The behavior of that faculties. If you don't understand that, that also another way, avijja. And another things, if you cannot recognize the arising, existence, and disappearance of your inner behavior, that also come to avijja. Those are the four roots that hold us to this samsara. So in this Sabbasava Sutra, the Buddha giving a package for you to completely, not for a half, completely purify your mind from this sanskara or the mental formations. So there are a few things then. It is not only the meditation. So the first one is you have to abandon this fermentations by seeing. So the seeing means here mentally recognizing. So that as example, that it called in Pali, it called dasana. So as example, when it come to the meditation we practice, vipassana. So here that the pasana also related to kind of like the same word category, dasana, the same family. And we means deeply. So that here dasana means seeing and vipassana means deeply, thoroughly seeing. So same, similar meaning it has. So dasana means seeing mentally, not by just physical eye. Mentally seeing. What do you have to see? That regarding that this I am, the how this I exist, how that my experience happening moment by moment, because this is something that this everything happens. Why we go to wrong views, why people come with the different ideas, it's because of the self-centered view. So if you don't have the self-centered view, you're not going to any wrong view. So then why the self-centered view come? The self-centered view come because of we don't see very clearly. See how it going to the ignorance? Why the self-centered view arise? Because we don't see clearly. So as example, if you look something from far away, maybe you cannot recognize it. So as an example, just imagine, it's like a human being, there is a dummy, and putting a cloth or something like that. Like when you go to these shopping malls and you see, there are that the dummies in front of the shop, and so putting garment. So like that, if you see something far away, maybe you cannot recognize it. You may think, oh, there's some person. But when you go closer, what will happen? You start to recognize the color of the cloth, and maybe then later, little by little, you recognize, oh, that person doesn't move. And then when you go closer, then you recognize, oh, it is a plastic dummy. No, so like that. If you don't look very carefully, you're not going to recognize. So that's why seeing is important. Seeing what? Seeing the moment of experience. So seeing 5 aggregates: form, feeling, sensation, formation, recognition. So mentally you seeing it, you have to recognize it. So that is one thing. That is one way that you can abandon this deeper, the self desires. Because if you don't see, you're not going to understand it. By reading, by listening to something, or by watching something, you cannot get this. So, but by seeing yourself again and again and again and again, you recognize what is this life means. And there are sometimes people keeping the self, they recognize outside the entire universe change, but they don't see how the observer change. But this way, what the Buddha is saying, and the observer, you go into the observer, you go into the subject, not the object. You go into the experiencer, not to the experience. So like that, you observe how you are changing moment by moment, moment by moment. And that is the first way that you can the get out of this sanskara. And the other one is that restraining, that it's kind of like it calls sangvara pahatabba. So when something come to us, especially in day-to-day life, with our eye, ear, nose, tongue, body, mind, when that the perception happens, don't try to fight with the world. Just recognize what you see, what you hear, and just focus to that faculty and be mindful with that. Maybe you see something beautiful, or maybe you see something, and if you caught up with the mind, and if you start to reflect on your memory related to that, you then get something inside your mind. But if you become very careful what you seen, and if you become very careful with what you hear, and knowingly you are hearing, knowingly you are smelling, knowingly you are tasting, knowingly you are have the sensation, if you know you are thinking, then in that very moment you not go beyond that limit. But sometimes we forget that. We seeing, we hearing, we smelling, we forget that present moment of experience. Then we caught up with the memory. Or maybe you just go into the dream world. So then restraining is means that in the moment you recognize very clearly, and you make it very limited to its faculty. If it is seeing, you make it very limited to eye, ear, nose, tongue, body, mind, and you not go beyond that. So that way you're not going to fight with the world. And because you just see, that's it. You hear something, that's it. It's going to change, it's going to disappear, it's not going to be there if you not hold it, any experience. So that also necessary. So seeing deeply in your mind, that is necessary. And at the same time, with your eye, ear, nose, tongue, body, mind, with your faculties, when something come to you as perception, in that very moment, recognizing and making it very limited to that moment of experience is very necessary. So two methods. So the third one is using, that it's a using means that how you can abandon that all these fermentations. It's kind of like this in day-to-day life, when you eating, when you drinking, and when you wearing cloth, that your whole lifestyle in day-to-day life, you have to do with the purpose and mindfully. That it is just not only sitting and closing your eyes and uh, practicing meditation. So that also become a part of it. When you eat, you should know you eat to cure the hunger. And when you sleep, you know you need the rest. And when you wearing clothes, you have to know what purpose, why you do it. So like that, knowingly the purpose, and whatever you do it meaningfully. So that doesn't mean, it doesn't say don't use anything. It's saying whatever you use it with the mindfully. So not using and using things with mindfully is two different things. Don't eat and eat with mindfully, two different things. So what here, that what the Buddha saying, Buddha don't tell you don't eat. In the sutta, it doesn't tell don't eat. When you eat with mindfully. If you're wearing anything, just when you wear it, just remember, mindfully know that why you do it, know the reason, know the purpose, and do it. So that is another way. Another one is The next method is tolerating and being patient. So self-control. So that is its mean. So adivasana pahataba. Adivasana pahataba, it's kind of like this. Sometimes hunger you have to tolerate. Little bit hunger, it is okay. You're not going to die. And at least for a person, you know, if you have water, mostly 5 days, 6 days, 7 days, you can survive without food. You remember a few years back that in Thailand, in the cave, that there were some children survived without food. It's a few days they survived there. So like that, just remember, when you have hunger, don't jump to it thinking that that hunger going to destroy you. And sometimes people think when they get little hunger, if every day they used to eat in a certain time, if that time pass little bit, they think that is the end of life. No, you have to be okay with that, and be okay with the cold little bit, be okay with the heat little bit, be okay with the discomfort little bit. And other thing, most important, see in this sutta it mentioned, be okay with that others, that argument, disagreements. That is very important. If you say something, if others disagree with that, it is okay. And whatever you say, other people no need to be agree with that. And if they criticize, it is okay. So like that, learn to practice tolerance and learn to be patient with that in day-to-day life. So teach your children especially, because sometimes as parents, because of your love, you don't want them to feel any discomfort. You giving all the facilities and making them so comfortable. You destroying their life. Because how you know, every day maybe you're not going to provide that things. Maybe tomorrow you lose your job, and maybe you become homeless with your family. What will happen? Maybe you cannot bring that all the facilities to them. Maybe natural disaster come. What will happen to them? How they can survive? They can survive naturally, but their mindset attack them thinking, oh, we need that comfort, we need that comfort. No, teach them little bit themselves to maintain their life. And when it come to that, the Japan is one of the best country and giving children that kind of training. From why? Because as you know, then after Hiroshima Nagasaki, that nuclear attack, and they went through hell, and now still they train, and they have always earthquakes and these natural disasters time to time, and they teach children from very beginning of their life, and handle with the hunger, and handle with that less facilities, and they train them. And so it deeply, it make a strong character. So then yourself remember, when you raise your children, and not always, don't show always the good side of life, then you kind of like a cheating them. No, sometimes you have to teach them what is real life. When they become matured, little by little, when they're able to handle themselves, their life, little by little, teach them what is real life, what the life that you went through. So that is the important part. So that is why here what the Buddha said to all the monks and all the practitioners, whoever practice meditation in this spiritual path, and wherever you go, don't depend on facilities, others' opinions, and don't depend on always the good comfort. No, sometimes it's okay. Don't think that to practice meditation you need a cushion. No. See, if you depend on cushion, if there is no cushion, what will happen? You addicted to cushion, And maybe Buddha appear, and in front of the Buddha you want to practice meditation. No cushion, no enlightenment. So like that, it is not all. Keep it in your mental practice. Don't depend on this any physical situation. Don't depend on any that the physical environment. Little by little, try to practice. And the other one is avoiding situations. That also necessary. Oh, I am practice meditation because of that everything going to be okay. No. And sometimes, as example, if you see a tiger, snake, elephant, wild these animals, if you're not well trained and if you don't know their behavior, don't stay there. And they sometimes these young people go to very dangerous places, and they don't care, and maybe they die there. You know how many children or people sometimes when they go hike, they take a risk. These are kind of like this extreme sports, and they take risk, and then they end their life. They break their legs, hands. So then what will happen? They end their life there. So when you practice meditation, you cannot take like that risk spiritual in spiritual path also. If you know that situation going to make you angry, don't get into that situation. Escape from that. If you know that person going to make you greedy, try to escape from that person. If you know that person try to make you ignorance, don't keep associate with that person. Somehow find a way to escape from that. That also very necessary. So because you have no idea, you underestimate the power of ignorance. That's why we are still in samsara. The ignorance is the most powerful thing. It is even bigger and stronger than these nuclear weapons. It is stronger than this virus. So then remember, if you see ignorance there, don't just get into that. Why? Because there are sometimes situations come. Once you entered, no escape. Traps, there are certain trap. Certain traps. Once the animal enter, in that very beginning, it hold the animal. Some traps, it allow the animal to enter and play a little bit inside and then catch it. Some traps, it allow animal to enter, play there, and when it try to escape and then catch it. And some traps, it allow animal to enter and it allow to play there. And then the animal escape from it thinking no harm. And it allow little bit to go and then it already in trap. So like that, people the same, situation the same, greed, hatred, and the delusion the same. So the samsara the same. It is a trap. So then be wise yourself around your life and find a way. If you see that, don't go it. Don't play with it. Don't take a chance. As soon as possible, escape from it. So that is one way. Another one is the ill will and that ignorance, cruelty, no chance. Vinodana pahatapa. That's mean you don't give any chance. Zero tolerance. Right away. When it arises, right away, you don't think, oh, I'll do it tomorrow, or let it be there. No. In that very moment, you have to recognize and stop it. So that is the last one it called bhavana pahataba. So that is what? Meditation. When it comes to that, being alone yourself, practicing dispassion. So cessation, this kind of things you have to, by practicing, by developing your mind, you have to come to meditate. So when it comes to meditation, there are three important things. One is seclusion. So that means the state of being private. So all that, sometimes because we always look for gathering. No, you develop a moment to be silence yourself, be alone yourself, and dispassion. That means you are not influenced by emotions, needy, or you are not influenced by the pattern. You drop the pattern and you able to go moment by moment without repeating anything. And cessation means the moment of existence without plan, without having idea to become. So ending of becoming, cessation. So in the moment, that's why when sensation arise, you see it arise, and you be with them in that very moment how the sensation completely over. So you recognize that. So when you able to settle down that way, then your mind not going to plan ahead, because it stay in the moment, stay in the moment. So those are the things as a package. If you practice it, maybe you can practice it one by one. So seeing, restraining, and using, and tolerance, and avoiding, and displaying, and then meditating. So this kind of like that, you can practice this one by one. But the highest and the best way, how about if you can bring these all seven qualities and practice as one. So that is one of the way that in the Buddha's teaching we practice. You learn step by step, you understand one by one, but when it come to practice, you use everything together. So if you practice these all seven methods, even 1 minute as one, interrogating this everything together, and you will see in that very moment, you will experience releasing the sanskara or mental form, uprooting this all the defilement inside you. That stream influence, as I mentioned in the beginning. So whatever come towards you, going to stop. Whatever go out of you, going to stop in that very moment. That is where you're going to experience your balance, your liberation, your transformation. That is the moment you can gain the ultimate bliss of Nibbana. So with that, I bless upon everyone with this good practice. May all of you be well, happy and peaceful. May no harm come to you. May no difficulties come to you. May no problems come to you. May you also have the patience, courage, understanding, and determination to meet and overcome inevitable difficulties in your life. During this time period, may everyone stay healthy and safe. And finally, may all of you attain supreme bliss of Nibbana. Sabbityo vajjantu sabrogo vinasatu mate bhavatantarayu sukhi digayuko bhava. Ittavata cha mihi sampadam punya sampadam sabbe deva numodantu sabba sampatti siddhya. Sabbe bhuta numodantu sabba sampatti siddhya. Sabbe satta numodantu sabba sampatti siddhya. Idam me punya kammang asavakkaya vahang hotu sabba dukkha pamuncatu. Bless you.